Well, I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote for Biden. I wrote in the name of a conservative Republican.
There are many Republicans who have felt that they've not been able to vote for Donald Trump. Can you identify with them?
The Republican Party, after this election, one way or another, is going to have a major internal conversation about what kind of party we want to be. I for one, hope we can cut this albatross off from around our neck. I think it will be difficult because I don't think if the president loses, he won't go graciously. But I think we should approach it in the Abraham Lincoln spirit, with malice toward none, with charity toward all, to bind up the party's wounds, because we're going to have a lot of struggles on our hand under a Biden presidency.
So you describe Donald Trump as an albatross?
I think he is. I don't think he represents the conservative values of the Republican Party. I don't think he has a coherent philosophy. I don't think he's competent to be president. I think he's out for one thing, and that's Donald Trump. Those are not our principles.
How would you describe Donald Trump's Republicanism, his brand of republicanism?
He's not a Republican. He has no guiding principles. He knows elements of the Republican Party base that he wants to appeal to. He's been successful in some respects. Nominations to the judicial system, economic policy at home. But beyond a few things that really inspire some of the party's base, his ideas could fit into a Democratic Party administration.
If Donald Trump were to win a second term, what would be your prognosis for the country? What would that look like?
Well, I'd be very worried. I think the damage that Trump did in the first term can be corrected, but I worry that the damage he would do in a second term, unconstrained by any further need to be reelected, unconstrained because he beat the badly flawed and failed impeachment effort, I think the damage he could inflict domestically and internationally could be irreparable.
Can you give us an example? What sort of things are you thinking of?
Well, he simply doesn't abide by rules because he thinks those only apply to losers. So right now, as we speak, he and his surrogates are saying that he's going to declare victory on election night, and that if it looks like he starts to lose later, it's because of fraud. Number one, that will be wrong unless I see evidence that I haven't seen yet. And number two, it's extraordinarily unpresidential for the president of the country to be attacking its electoral system. This is a signal of a real problem if he gets a second term.
If he were to resist leaving the White House, do you predict that it would be Republicans that would say to him, actually, look, it's time to go, or would the pressure come from elsewhere?
It has to be Republicans, and this will be a character test for the party. It's a character test right now to resist this false notion that he'll have, as his spokesman said yesterday, more than a majority of electoral votes on election night, and if he falls below 270, it will be because people have stolen them. That's just simply wrong. So I think Republicans who understand what the party is all about are going to have to come out of the shadows and out of the closet and say, we do not accept this kind of behavior.
Do you think Joe Biden would make a better president, a better leader?
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm going to be unhappy on election night. It's a choice between somebody whose philosophy I think would head the country in the wrong direction versus a president who has no philosophy and is not competent to be president.
In terms of President Trump, some might say that it's sour grapes on your part because he did sack you.
Well, I would say I resigned after 17 months of doing the best I could to keep things moving in the right direction. I've published a 500-page book with a detailed recounting of my time in the White House. It's out there for the people to read. People will make their own judgments whether it's the truth or sour grapes.
Paint for us the worst-case scenario of a second term with Donald Trump.
Well, I think he will be even more unconstrained than he was in the first term, of course. Very hard to predict what he'll do.
And does he have a world view? I mean, you've worked with him closely. What is his overall world view?
Donald Trump is a winner, and the rest of you are losers.
And that's it?
That's it.
Are you looking past 2020 now? Because you say that it's the worst of two evils, the choices at this election. Are you looking past this date to the next election, the next 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I say after we know the outcome in 2020, the Republican Party has a significant task ahead of it. It won't be a project of 60 or 90 days. It will take some time.
Your prediction?
Well, I think the polls are on trial, really, this election. They got it badly wrong the last time, despite their efforts to say they weren't so wrong. This is not a matter of polling error at this point. This is separate sets of polls that have completely different conceptual foundations. But putting it all together, I would say this. I will vote $1 that Joe Biden is elected president, but I won't bet any more than that.